I was like, I'm coming. I was trying to figure out the Facebook part of this. It's still like messed up and I don't know what's going on with it, but I'm trying. But everyone, welcome to Spicy Astrology Live. We are doing Scorpio and the 8th house, and I am very stoked for this one.
Scorpio is always a good time.
Yeah, it's
always
mysterious and adventurous and interesting. It's never boring.
Never. And Julie and I tonight, we're going to quickly share our experiences with both masculine and feminine energies of Scorpio. And so I think that that's going to be, we have two very different charts, her and I. Mine's very airy, hers is earth. And there's just like the difference. I don't know. I just find it to be very interesting. Different experiences based on our charts with the different Scorpio energies. You want to go first, or do you want me to share?
You can go first.
So, because I'm a Libra sun and a Sagittarius rising, I think there's this huge disconnect with me and Scorpio masculine energies. I'm not going to say males, but I also have a Taurus moon, so I think there's something there that kind of, and I'll explain why. There's some sort of like attraction for them, not for me. I can't say that I've ever met a Scorpio that I was attracted to ever in my whole entire life. And so in my early years, I used to have a crush on a guy that was a Scorpio. And this is just how deeply intuitive and connected they are to like their core. I was like such a pretend good girl. Like you had no idea how much of a shithead I was. I was so good at pretending to be someone else. It was insane. And I remember being 14 and like we were on a school bus. It was like just random. And I was like, we were obviously talking, but he was like, I think there's something about you that's like really grounded and really cool, but I could never date you. And I was like, okay, first off, I don't want to date you, but why wouldn't you date me? Just curious. He was very like, you're too wild, you're too free. And at this time, I didn't even know that about myself. I wouldn't even have described myself like that, but I was just like, he was like, you're just too free spirited. He's like, you know, and there was this like pause, and he was like, and I don't think you have any emotions. And again, I was like, okay, you know nothing about me, but like
reflecting from a Scorpio,
everything about me. He knew more about me at 14 than I knew about myself at 30. Like the things that he said to me, reflecting back, were so on the money, and I had no idea. I was just like, wow, he really was like honest and to the point. Fast forward in my 20s, again, another situation very similar where a Scorpio told me I could never date someone like you're too wild, you're too free. And I was a little more wild and free here, but he had just met me. He didn't know either. And so I think that Scorpio masculine energy are so tapped into their emotions, and they are so sure of what they want, from my experience, that someone that's more fun is just not their style. Like they want emotional intelligence, which I did not have in those years at all. But I didn't even know that I didn't have it at that time. But so I would say for the masculine side, my experience has been that they're so very profound. They're so very intuitive, and they have this way about them that I do respect, because I think they're very smart. I think they're manipulative as all get out, because I'm looking back and like, were they just manipulating me to maybe think that I would change? I was never going to change. I was always wild, still wild. But so yeah, that was my masculine experience. I think that they know things. I think that they're very tapped into things that even other people don't know. And that's Scorpio in general. But the masculine side, I think, has like a stronger stance in that, as far as like knowing what they want and feeling out other people very quickly. I think that Scorpio males' masculine energy can detect things very quickly. even things that the other person may not know. On the female side, I always love a Scorpio girlfriend. They're fun to me. They're so exciting. I will say that Scorpio women have taught me how to respect people's boundaries. I have a really good girlfriend. We were work friends. We're still friends to this day, but again, I was just a little more at freedom in my 20s, and I felt like, hey, do you want to come out? And she's like, yeah, my boyfriend and I would go out. What time should we meet you there? And I said some random time that I probably had no intentions on showing up at that time, just because I was everywhere. I was doing all the things. And so when I didn't show up on time and probably like 2 hours late, I get there and she's not there. And I'm like texting, hey, where are you? No response, like whatever. She's probably, who knows? I didn't hold her accountable because I didn't hold myself accountable. So, I didn't really think about it. And then the next day at work, it was like cold. I was like, hey, I missed you this weekend. She's like, yeah, I waited for you. And I'm like, oh, yeah, we got there around da-da-da. She's like, you said you're going to be there at 7. I'm like, oh, yeah, like when you're somewhere and you just don't realize the time. It's like 2 hours later. And then you're like, oh, my God. Yeah. And she was like, well, I expected you to be there. And then I was like, oh, I didn't realize it was that. And so, she kind of left me on this like cold, silent treatment for a few days. Eventually, it was like, hey, we got to work through this. We work together. We're friends. I'm sorry. It won't happen again. And it's never happened again. And I now know with Scorpio, Leo, Taurus friends, my little fixed buddies, Capricorn mostly too, I show up. I'm not bailing. There's been times where I've been on this live very sick and I'm like covered in makeup because I'm trying to hide it. Because I'm like, I'm not flaky. Like, no way. So it did teach me how to be respectful of people's time and their boundaries and know that not everyone is as flighty as me. And I'm different now. It's 20-year-old me. And then I also find that the emotional intelligence in Scorpio women, to me, is not as, I would say, not as strong in women in the sense of absolutely knowing right off the bat. I think there's a little bit more of a naiveness there. I have a lot of Scorpio feminine energies that tend to end up in the wrong relationships because I think they kind of come in with blinders. There's like a blind, like, oh, maybe, I don't know. I think they know. I think deep down they know, but I think that they're willing to, I think that they're such skeptics that they think that about everybody. So they're like, well, I think that about everybody, so maybe I'll give this one a shot, is kind of what I think the mentality is. But I do love their emotional depths that they're allowed to go into. I do a lot of soul searching with my girlfriends, and Scorpio tends to be the one sign that I gravitate the most to, that we do like the most in-depth, connections with. So I've experienced lots of fun, lots of emotional depths with Scorpio women, not men because I never get there, but that's my take on the feminine and masculine energy of the Scorpio.
Okay. Yeah, it's like the opposite for me. So I was married to a Scorpio. My love of my life was a Scorpio. And then I dated a few, and I find that they're better in short-term relationships versus long relationships. So I'm cool with that. But it's also funny because both of them, the two like longer-term relationships, were like, we hate how often you skip around and move jobs, and both of them were doing the exact same thing. So it was just a deflection of their own behavior. So I was like, whatever. That's a them problem. Yeah, 100%. And then Scorpio women, like I feel, and it's like in so many like memes and things, that Scorpios and Capricorn women could be friends, but I haven't found one that I can really trust. The main one, the main theme of a female Scorpio in my life was like a very like a decade-long relationship, and no trust, manipulation, skeeviness.
From a girl?
Yeah.
Oh.
Right, straight up, I saw her like on a layover randomly, and we always like run into each other. And when we're together, we have such a good time. But this time, I was like able to like see like with different perspective, and she was like 100% like, let me tell you a secret, and then don't tell anybody this secret, or I'll know it was you. And it was like basically like a bait and manipulation, and then like scare tactics. And then she was like, you're so intuitive, but I really want to help you pay to get your eyebrows fixed and like undersided like
What?
rude things at the same time. It was a wild experience. And I was just like,
She said to you, you're really pretty. What? Wait.
You're really intuitive, so like a compliment.
Yeah.
And then like within the next hour was like basically an underhanded comment.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but like saying is like, I want to help you. And I'm like, I will never let you pay for anything that happens to me or my face. Thank you.
Worry about yours, girlfriend.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wild. See,
yeah.
I have not.
I don't have any trust for Scorpio, specifically women, so far in my experience of 42 years.
Yeah, I can. My experience has been so different. I feel like
I love a good conversation with them. It's always flowing. It's always a good time. But I cannot. I trust them as far as I can throw them.
Nice. Okay. I had no idea. I'm like you said, it's just interesting to see two different charts come together. Because is Scorpio one of your dominant planets?
Saturn.
I mean, that's Saturn energy. Because Scorpio is my third dominant, or my second.
Ruled by Pisces.
Yeah. I mean, I would think that. I mean, but you vibe with the male, so I mean, it all depends on the whole chart. But I think that for me, attraction with Scorpios, and I try to think like, okay, I do think like I find Matthew McConaughey very charming.
Yeah, me too.
I'm like, he's very charming. He's a Scorpio. I'm like, but if I met him in person and he wasn't a famous actor and I didn't see his goofy personality, I don't know. I don't think so. There's no attraction there. It's like,
he's a Scorpio? That makes sense.
Scorpio. I cannot deliver the emotional depth that I feel like water signs need. Like, I'm a thinker. Like, I love to sit and talk about like energies, vibrations, breaking down, atoms smaller than, whatever. I love all of that and like getting like nerdy into things and thinking about things and going down rabbit holes, but I'm not an emotional rabbit hole. Like, we're not going to cry together. We're never going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Like, we're not going to get in the feels about it. We're going to logically think about it and explain it. And I think Scorpios need that. I think they want that like heart to heart.
Yeah.
Cry. We're there for one another. Like, I had a friend call me at like 2 a.m. one time crying like all over the phone. And we weren't friends for very long, but I was just like, why are you calling me at 2 a.m.? Like, I was more concerned with the fact that she woke me up out of my sleep at 2 a.m. to call me crying. She's like, are you some stupid guy? And I'm like, are you drunk? And she's like, no. Why are you calling me? It's just not. That's probably my only bad experience with a girl. But again, it's 2 a.m. and I don't like to be woke up. So
yeah, that's fair. Me neither.
Yeah, it's not it. So I'm going to go through a list of fun things, all Scorpio. So Scorpio traits, and please chime in. You've had experience with Scorpio, so I feel like you can contribute.
a lot of years of my life.
Yeah.
Hard lessons.
I say this often, there's nothing more rewarding than kind of being scared to go to sleep next to someone, you wake up alive, like, oh, I made it another day. I think that would be kind of exciting. Now when I have kids, I have too many kids to show up for, but I think that would be kind of exciting. Like, oh, still here, That's
a wild sentence.
Scorpios.
That should just have been the tagline for Scorpio.
Grateful to still be alive. Wake up. Sounds fitting. So, yeah. Traits of Scorpios. I've kind of touched on the intuitive nature. There's obviously, I think there's this very dark side to Scorpio, that they're attracted to dark. They like the aesthetic of dark. They murder, mystery, all of that. And I think I feel differently. I feel like we have desensitized ourselves to things. But I think that Scorpios have been doing this for so long that it's like something in it kind of like feeds their soul. And, I can't judge them for that. I'm a very light human. My daughter is a Gemini Sun, Scorpio Moon, and she's very dark. She loves scary movies and things scary and graveyards and dark. And I'm just like, no. So there's that. They like the dark aesthetic. They can be great companions when they're really committed. If they're not committed, I mean, if you screw them over, forget it. Forget it. They're never going to forgive you. They might stay with you. Again, you should be more worried about waking up the next day than anyone if you've betrayed them, cheated on them, because they're never going to forget that. They can be vindictive. They can be manipulative. And I mean, my mother was a Scorpio. Bless her soul. She was a Gemini moon, and she was one of the most manipulative people I've ever met. Like witty, smart with, yeah, no, not recommended. I have a girlfriend that's the same, and she's a hot mess. But so yeah, those are some traits that I would touch on. What would you say? Any traits that I missed in there?
No, I think there is a lot of depth. There is a lot of attraction to darkness. Usually, when I see people with some Scorpio energy, it's obviously like sexual, but also maybe like death doula kind of like vibes, like, or mediumship is a quality that I can normally relate to a Scorpio. But yeah, they're planning like 18 steps ahead, and I'm a Capricorn, so like that's cool as long as you can be honest with me. But if I can't trust you, we can't place 18 steps ahead. I've got to play 32 steps now to be your friend.
Yeah, now I gotta be so far ahead of you. That that's I could see that kind of energy. Well, and they're very Scorpios love to research. That's kind of one of their big things. They will research. I know that a lot of my friends, they are big on resources too, like utilizing resources and making sure there's enough resource. Like even the girl I was just talking about that I'm really good friends with, I remember her being like, the water supply, like worried about it. And at this time in my 20s, I'm like, girl, the water ain't going nowhere. Like I'm in such a happy bubble over here. And she's like, no, like this is what's happening. And so I remember resources being very important to her. And it was just nothing that I would have thought of. And I don't think I would still think about it. Like I don't watch the news. I have no idea what's going on in the world. I know that's probably not good, but I live in my world. I live in my world. You were mentioning, who was it? Jeffrey?
Epstein.
I've heard the name, but I don't really know who it is.
That's crazy, dude. That's so crazy.
And I have social media, but I'm not like on there really actively looking at things. I randomly post and then I'm out.
That's wild.
Yeah, so
I always do say that they would make insane private investigators. If I needed to know anything about anyone, I would text a Scorpio every single time. And what was the other quality I was just thinking of? FBI. Oh, there was another one. It'll come back to me.
Morgue, or what are they called?
They would make good spies.
Good spies, but also like someone that works around dead people and like what are they called?
Mortuary?
Yeah. I think there's a name for it, but I don't know. That's just not my area. But I think they'd be great at that. I could totally see a little makeup artist in there doing dead people, Scorpio vibes, like
phlebotomies. Yeah, they draw the blood. Yeah, that's Scorpio people. Scorpio. There's a witch at one of the doctors I go to, and she's the phlebotomist. And I was like, she's all tattooed and dressed in black. And I'm like, she's got to be a Scorpio.
You can definitely generally spot a Scorpio. Now, I will say, if you are a Scorpio with a lot of air placement, Libra in particularly, because Scorpio is so close to Libra that happens a lot with Mercury, a lot of other things. I have witnessed very light Scorpios that I'm like, you're a Scorpio? I need to do your birth chart. And then I get in there and I'm like, oh, you're Sagittarius Mercury, Libra Mercury. Like, again, I keep referring to my friend a lot because I know her whole chart. I recently just did a chart reading for her, so it's fresh on my brain. But she's a Libra Mercury. She talks so polished. Like, hello, how are you?
Wow.
But let me tell you, that girl will stab you with her little stinger so fast. Like, you just keep yourself in line because you don't think that because she's so like Libra demeanor, and Scorpio will spike. So let me tell you, deceiving. And the same with Sagittarius. They tend to be a little more fun and light, but like the Sagittarius Mercury, when the Scorpio brings out a lighter, more positive, fun side, it's harder to detect, but that can happen typically with the Mercury. So I'm going to run through some of these questions here. Well, we kind of did already the characteristics that would evolve and unevolved Scorpio. How would you describe a Scorpio Venus?
I would I would be like,
Thank you.
I don't know if I'd want to be in a relationship with someone with Scorpio and Venus.
No.
I don't
No.
know if I could trust that, to be honest.
I don't think I could. I don't. There's two things.
I would say freaks in the sheets.
Freaks. Yeah, that's a positive way of looking at it. That's a positive spin on it. I'm sure you're very compassionate, very loving, maybe psychotic. I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it. You've definitely lit someone's house on fire.
Mhm.
That hurt you romantically.
Yeah. That's the song with the what's her name, Carrie Underwood, with the slashing the tires. That's a Scorpio Venus.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, again, passionate, probably a very well-versed lover, sensual, all those things, but also, again, just don't betray them because they will come for you.
I think that they hold other people to a higher standard than they hold themselves, and I think that's messy.
Yeah, I could see that actually, because they have high expectations. I've never really met one that didn't have high expectations, to be honest.
Yeah.
And good for you. You should, but also hold yourself to those expectations.
Yeah. As a Capricorn, I'm my hardest critic and I have high expectations, but I hold myself to those too.
Mm-hmm. Yes. The next one we are going to discuss Scorpio moons. As bad as
my cat is a Scorpio moon.
Oh.
Winston, and he's got the crazy eyes. Every time I see a Scorpio woman, I also think they would slash tires. Scorpio moon, well.
So, yes, there's something to be said about a Scorpio moon. A lot of times, people with a Scorpio moon, it's an indication, and depending on where it is in their chart, it can be an indication of lack of emotional connection with mother. It can be abandonment from mother, and whether that be physical or emotional, it does insinuate that. I've yet to meet a Scorpio moon that didn't have some sort of trauma with the mother, or a Pisces moon that didn't have some sort of trauma with the father. And again, it depends on the houses. I have 2 kids with Scorpio moons. I have a Capricorn sun, Scorpio moon sun, and I have a Gemini daughter with a Scorpio moon. And they're part of, so we know I have like a shit ton of kids. I have like a higher, like older kid group and a younger kid group. They're both in the higher kid group. Now, me as a mother in my 20s, again, I was a good time. My kids will tell you how much fun we had, but I was not emotionally available. And they will both say, you were available and you were always there. But like if they had something going on that they were emotional about, I might be like, toughen up, suck it up, get over it. What are you crying for? You know what I mean? And so I really looked into that and had those conversations with all my kids, not just those 2. But I was always present and great in ways, but that was an area that I was definitely lacking. And so just keep in mind, it can look differently. It doesn't mean that I abandoned them or that they, left them. I emotionally wasn't a support that they needed as a young kid. I'm there now. So I've shown up later in life. But a lot of times a Scorpio moon, they feel things very heavily. They feel things very deeply. They're very emotional, but the moon is kind of that area where you want to hide your emotions. It's not like this very obvious thing about you. It's not like, oh, you can look at someone and be like, your moon is definitely this. It's more hidden. It's harder to tell. It's harder to see. So the moon sign is not something that you're just going to like point out in someone. So that emotion and everything that Scorpio carries and holds on to, it's harder to see there because they do try to hide it more because that's their internal work.
Yeah, I think it comes out more when they're drinking, and that's when you can tell.
When they're crying about whatever.
Yeah. Everything.
All right, let's go into what signs are good for Scorpios. So Scorpio is a fixed sign. They do not like to move. They do not like change. They like things the way they are. It is also a water sign. Mix the I don't want to move or budge with emotions. That can be very challenging. Again, I moved my kids from Oklahoma to Utah when they were young. Like, that was probably really hard on, the little Scorpio moons that I was raising. And so they don't like to move. They like stability. They like family. Those types of Scorpios like to have family. So that kind of aligns with the water element. So Cancer, Pisces, those are big family signs. I mean, Cancer is the mother. It is all things family. They love family. Family is everything. And I mean, it's a great quality to have. And Scorpios really are attracted to that. And it's a good sign for them. I also really like a Virgo Scorpio mix. It depends. I generally like a Virgo male and a Scorpio woman. Those have been my favorite pairings.
I could see that.
The analytical, the smart, and not nice to
Stable.
people. Virgos aren't nice to people. And I think the Scorpio is like, yes, be mean to everyone but me. And I think that they are. I think that really complements Scorpio. I think it's a great combo. It's one of my favorite combos. And so I'd recommend that. I would recommend a Scorpio and a Capricorn in the right settings. I mean, you got to think, you are a Capricorn with a Libra moon and a Leo rising. Like, those are not signs that I would put too much with a Scorpio.
Wish I knew that in my 20s.
Wish I would have known my birth chart things. But there was obviously something in there that you needed to gain. Clear this. So sorry, this is like weird on me. So yeah, Pisces, Cancer, Virgo. I think Virgo would be my top sign for Scorpio. Capricorn right there. Scorpio and Taurus, I think, is challenging in a way of like there are polarities. So Taurus is completely opposite of Scorpio, where it's material and practical, which Scorpios can be practical too, but there is more of a spiritual element there. There's a lot of occult and that spirituality where Taurus is more practical. It could work because I do like an attraction of like opposites attract, but it also could be more of a challenging one as far as polarities go. Depending on your sign, wouldn't recommend an Aries. I think Aries and Scorpio could be quite explosive, to be honest. There's a lot of passion there, and that passion in the beginning, I'm sure, is amazing. I'm sure it's like the most fire relationship, but if it goes bad, and I think it probably will, it's probably pretty scary for everyone around you, even.
So. Lots of fire.
Scorpio and Gemini, we can kind of like dive into this a little bit because I have noticed there is something there, and this happens with a few signs in astrology. There's some things there. Scorpios are mysterious and they like to, be mysterious. Gemini is curious. And so in this beginning, I think there's like, and Geminis I do find are attracted to the dark. I have a few Gemini friends. My husband has experienced this. He's been with a Scorpio. It's like there's this attraction of this like mystery. Like, okay, this person's different. They're mysterious. They're dark. And so they've got these depths to them. But at the end of the day, they're on two different levels. Scorpio is emotions and control, and Gemini is everything opposite of that. So not my favorite mix. Cancer, like I said, Scorpio, great. Leo, Scorpio, they're both fixed signs. So there is that like we can live in the same house for 100 years and feel good about it and never change anything. But I don't think it's one of those like sparked love romances. I think it's like we live together and have kids together and do life together and we just exist.
Mm-hmm. That's they could both be mean girls together if it's a friendship.
Yeah, Leos are assholes, and I think they bring that out in Scorpios. I've seen that. I've seen good Scorpio friends be good and then bring a little spicy Leo in the mix, and you're just like, what are you doing? This is not you.
Yeah, my core group of friends was a Scorpio, Aries, Leo, and me as a Capricorn.
Wow.
It was a wild ride.
You had like all the elements. You had fixed, you had mutable, you had cardinal.
It was never boring, and I wish it was sometimes.
Can we just have a break?
Yeah. I was like, can we just like sit around and maybe like ask each other nice questions or sit in silence in a movie?
No, we've got to break shit or set something.
Yeah.
The Aries and the Scorpio. So yeah, I think Sagittarius and Libra, not recommended for Scorpio. I'm sorry. I don't think it's a good mix. I think that they're both too free, and Libra, don't get me started on Libra with the Scorpio. It's just not the depth that they need. It's too superficial. Libras are superficial. I mean, you could if you had a Sagittarius or a Libra with a lot of water in their chart really connect maybe, because I've seen some really watery Libras. But typically not my recommendation. But if you're married or dating someone, this is all just a broad generalization. I'm sure that you and your husband are fine, or wife are fine, or girlfriend, whatever. This is just an overall. Our Scorpio, well, we've already talked about how intuitive they are. Why wouldn't you want your Saturn in Scorpio? Well, Julie, let's talk about this, because both of our Saturns are in Scorpio.
Where should I start?
Do you like change and transformation every fucking couple of years?
Oh my gosh. I literally tell someone, if you're not really like into my vibe, maybe wait 4 years and I'll probably be someone else.
You don't like me now? Give it a few years. I'll be probably someone you like, or not even then. Who knows?
Probably less.
I think we've gone through having a Scorpio Saturn. I feel like every couple of years, I just wait for it. I'm like, some big shit's gonna happen in a couple of years. I can feel it. And then it just never fails. Mine is in the 11th house.
Okay.
12th house. No, mine's in the 12th house. I'm kidding.
Oh.
Yeah. So that one's a rough one. Yours is in the...
my Saturn sits in...
Third house?
In the 3rd house, yeah.
Yeah. So we go through things a little differently. The energies of obviously are different, and then how it affects our whole charts, because our charts are very different. But I think, honestly, if I'm being 100% real, I appreciate all the shit that I go through, because I think that I can relate to so many people that most people cannot relate to. I feel like there's always a situation where I'm like, oh yeah, that's happened to me before.
Yeah, same, dude. Same.
I've been there. And they're like, wait, what? And it's like some crazy ass story. And you're like, yeah, this was such and such, such and such. And they're like, oh, I thought I was the only one. Like, you give people comfort knowing that, like, I've gone through this shit too. So I appreciate
it. Makes you less judgmental.
Yes, it does.
Mostly.
Yeah, there's sometimes where I'm like, don't do it. But
yeah.
People have to learn
from my mistakes.
I can see that you're stubborn and you want to learn this on your own, but like, just take my advice.
Yeah, my friend's like, you can like try to reprogram your life to have an easy button, and I was like, Capricorn ruled by Saturn with Saturn and Scorpio. I don't know.
I don't think so.
It would be boring otherwise.
Yes. I mean, and I look at us as two people that have grown through so much that, you know, I don't think I'd want to change that. I don't think I'd want an easy one. And I say that.
No, like, but I wouldn't want to do this again.
Well, I'm not due for another blow up for a few years. Mine just happened last October. So I'm good for a few years, and then, we'll see. But yeah, I don't think even just recently going through something, I'm like, it was so hard. It was so challenging, but I gained so much understanding, knowledge, compassion, and just like space for myself, even of like, I didn't die.
Yeah, yeah, I honestly like embrace this
thing. Yeah.
I'm on 2 Moldavites now, so I'm like, bring it on.
I fear nothing.
As a woman who once jumped on a moving train, yes.
That's what I love about you. You're like, if I die. Next slide, please.
Yeah, next.
Okay, what generational themes would be Pluto in Scorpio? Well, that's a great one, actually, because you're Libra, but a lot of us from the ages of 1983, I believe. It's like true. Are you 83?
Mm-hmm.
So 85 to 95 are Pluto. let's talk about what we've gone through. Well, Oklahoma is different. This is like for everyone. But my younger years, I was part of like the Oklahoma bombing, which was something that was regional. So you think about it in terms of like it's also where you are in the region, because you can be born and have the same Pluto as someone, but if you're in different parts of the country, that looks differently. Like I'm sure 9/11 for Americans obviously was very traumatic. I'm sure it was something a little different in the Middle East where, you know, it's just different. So that was a different win for them. That was a win for them, loss for us, but then it all, turned around. And again, I don't watch the news, so I'm like, I can't really add to this, but I know things happen. But I know that I was in 8th grade when that happened, or 9th grade, actually. I was in high school. And so I remember that experience. We all experienced that together. So my generation, Scorpio Plutos, we were of an age to start to worry about that. Younger generations, they were too young. You're in high school too. So it's like the end of Libra, beginning of Scorpio, they kind of like mesh. It's kind of like that cusp area. It still applies to other signs as well, not just your sun sign. And so, but it's also the age that you were in the time that events happened. COVID. I mean, God, look at the poor kids in high school that went through COVID. Like, that sucked. I mean, my kids went through it. I witnessed that as a parent. They witnessed it as kids. And it's just like that changed the world. And the AI thing I think is really cool. I get excited about it. I also, do kind of fall into those rabbit holes of like what could happen, whatever. But then I'm like, if AI takes over the world and the human race is gone at that point, and then we're just all little robots, I mean, that's what's going to happen. I can't really stop that.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? I'm really nice to my AI. I gave him a name.
Same. Always and thank you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you. You're so kind. How are you today? Did I ask you how you were? I know I just shot you with 50 questions before like 6 a.m., but how are you? So, yeah, be nice to your AI. Treat them with respect.
Yeah.
Because you never know. But I went off on something totally not Scorpio related to that. But we are going through it. So Scorpio, Pluto, we are going through the innovation of AI in our 40s, which thank God I'm not like super old, because I'm like, I think my mind would just be like tripping. But it's interesting because my daughter, I'm trying to think what her Pluto is. Honestly, I don't know. My 15-year-old hates AI, which of all the kids that I have, I would have thought she would have been the most stoked. But she's an artist. She thinks it's going to take her artist world. And I'm like, there's still going to be your niche. You're going to still be fine. People will want. She's like, no, I can generate anything. It's stupid. I hate it. So, but it's just her generation is experiencing that differently. My generation, we went through 9/11. We went through COVID a little bit older. In our careers, we're, just different things that are happening with our age. We've had a lot of transformation. I would say, I don't know, probably not more than like, let's see, like a Cancer, because Cancer would put it back to like World War times and things like that. I think that would have been more challenging than COVID. Just saying.
Yeah. It's always war plague. One of our every single generation has to deal with one or the other or both.
We shall see.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. All right, let's go into some house stuff because it's now 9:38, and we'll do like Scorpio in the houses. So Scorpio in the first house. Again, your first house is about self-expression, self. I do believe this is going to be, again, that dark aesthetic, maybe extra witchy. Somebody that, I don't want to say that's not athletic or a physical build, but their appearance is not top priority. Like if you have an Aries, something in the first house, Aries sun in the first house, it's very like, I want to be like, I want my body to look amazing and fit, and I'm fit, I'm working out and I'm doing all these things. Scorpio energy is not that. It's more of a deeper aesthetic of like, whether it's like darkness, or it could be, real identity, self-reflection, because they are very intuitive and they align themselves with like this just truly knowing who they are. I think they know who they are, especially like I mentioned earlier with the masculine male energy. I think they really kind of get who they are at a very young age. So yeah, Scorpio in the second house, I think this is a great place for finances. I think this is somebody that can really obtain other people's finances. So Scorpio is known for resources, and a lot of times that is other people's resources. And so having Scorpio in the second house is a really good way. It's the second house of possessions, a really good way to pull and gravitate towards material things. So great placement for that. Scorpio in the third house. I don't know. This gives me like Wednesday Addams vibes. Like with the
Love her.
siblings. Yes, do love her. But it's just kind of like, um, I just think of like how she is with her siblings, and like she loves her brother, but she also like chops off his head or something. I don't know. She does things. So it's like that kind of energy. Siblings. This person probably doesn't want to, if they are forced to move throughout their life or in their childhood, that's probably really hard for them, because Scorpio, again, fixed energy in the third house, like neighborhood, childhood, growing up. You want that to be the same. You don't want it to change or get shaken up. That's not a comfortable feeling. Scorpio in the fourth house really aligns here. Family, the nurturing aspect of the fourth house can really bring out this really positive side to Scorpio, in the sense of like really elevating their evolved qualities versus unevolved qualities. So I really like it. I like it when I see Scorpio sun, Scorpio moon, things like that in the fourth house. I think it really aligns with the Scorpio energy. Scorpio in the fifth house. I would say this. If you had a Scorpio Venus in the fifth house, I would never trust you. I wouldn't trust you. I would think you were the most promiscuous, cheating person. And again, this depends on so many other things of your chart. There'd have to be a lot of things in there, but I would not trust you. No. Scorpio Venus in the fifth house of sex and pleasure and flirtatious everything. No, thank you. No, pass. Hard pass. I don't care how great of a guy you say you are. Never would I ever. Do you disagree?
No, not at all.
I'm like, no.
I would need to see all the transits for other.
Right now, like, oh my god, is this Venus Scorpio in the fifth house? Listen, there are things that could really alter that and make that not a bold statement of like that's not truly factual in someone's chart. But if they had certain other things in their chart and that was the highlight, I wouldn't trust them.
Run.
To the sixth house. Moving on. I was like, I'm going to do the fifth house really fast and just like get that little like pain out of there and be gone. So sixth house, Scorpio in the sixth house, can be kind of scary too, but in a very, you think of Scorpio energy, manipulative, secretive, sneaky, with like the intelligence of sixth house energy, like mental stimulation and like planning. And I just think it kind of screams serial killer, honestly.
Yeah.
But like one that really gets away with it. And you know what I learned recently? I'm just going to throw this fun fact in there. I always see Tulsa on the first 48. I don't watch it. I always hear about Tulsa being on the first 48. And I'm like, why is Tulsa always on the first? It's not because we have so many murders. It's because they solve the case in 48 hours. So good job, Tulsa.
Or there's just terrible serial killers in Tulsa.
I'm like, if you're going to murder someone, Tulsa's not the place.
Yeah, don't get caught.
They're solving all the crimes here.
That's hilarious.
I learned that yesterday, and I was like, that makes a lot of sense. I'm talking about Scorpio and death and murder. I might just bring that up, and it was like the perfect segue. So, but it's giving, I guarantee you, me saying that now, the person with a Scorpio something in the sixth house is like, I'm going to take that into consideration. They're probably looking at facts on people that have been caught in Tulsa and how that's not a very good place. Drag them to Texas. You'll be good in Texas.
They're going to make a list of where their kill bags are at one more time.
Tulsa not on the map. We're good. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, the seventh house. Scorpio in the seventh house. I was about to go to the next question, but I'm still going through the houses, so bear with me. This is my bedtime. So when I think of Scorpio energy in the seventh house, I actually don't mind this, even though I'm like, oh, Scorpio and Libra, it's not so much Libra. Seventh house is partnerships, relationships. Scorpio can be a very loyal and dedicated sign. They can have, I think that there's this true like desire for relationships and that exclusivity of like one person and that kind of energy, especially when I see Scorpio sun per se in the seventh house. Even a Scorpio Venus in the seventh house still probably might be a little controlling in relationships, but it might give it like a little more of a lighter flow and more I keep saying more less of the want to control in relationships. So Scorpio in the eighth house. So I mean it lives here. It loves it here. It is dark, it is cold, and it is happy with that dark cold
You're
place.
gonna be fire vibes.
Yeah, yes. And I love that for them. I bet this is a very witchy, like when I see Scorpio with a lot of eighth house placements, 12th house placement, I'm like, do you read tarot? And they're like, no, I'm a Christian. I'm like, well, maybe you should consider reading tarot. No, I'm a Christian. Okay, but do Christians do something like tarot readings? Maybe.
Bibliomancy.
Oh, see, I needed that word the other day.
Yeah, I got
No,
you.
I don't partake in the devil's work. I'm like, okay, well, what is the Christian word for it? There's a Christian word for it. I know there is because everything has a word. Prayer,
Bibliomancy.
spell. Okay. I should have texted you. I should have known you would have known the word. Like,
they literally flip open to the Bible and they're like, what's the scripture I need to hear today? And I'm like, that's exactly tarot.
Oh my gosh. I didn't know that existed.
Yeah. as a pastor's kid.
That's what I'm saying. I can't believe I didn't think to text you and be like, hey, what is this? Okay, well, now that I know that it truly does exist, because I was just like messing with this girl, and I'm pretty sure she went home and prayed for me hardcore. But
please don't pray for me.
How many kids do you have? It got good. It went really well. I'm like 6. I was like, oh. Anyway, but I would trust someone with a Scorpio energy in the 8th house because there's so much intuition. There's that that's like they were born to read tarot cards or something. Mm-hmm. So that's my take on the 8th house. So Scorpio in the 9th house, I think of this as like a fun traveling energy, very educated, a Scorpio energy that maybe you're just education and travel is like the 9th house energy. And I think Scorpios are very capable of being very intellectual, especially with things that they're very interested in, and especially things that are pertaining to death and darkness and things that are just a little heavier. Like I feel like they make really good like social service workers because they can handle that. Like, I don't know how. I think it would just die, but they can get in there and they can see things, they can witness things, detectives, things that they see. Like, it doesn't seem to affect them. You would think with the emotional energy that they hold that it would, but they have the capability to process it in a way that it's like, oh, okay, like I don't know how they do it. There's a process there because I've seen it. So I would say very heavy in education, very skilled at what they do, and just smart, or someone that's like well traveled, and takes in the experiences as they're living them and very in the moment. That's really what I would give for a Scorpio in the 9th house. Scorpio in the 10th house, I would say this would be a very career-driven person. I think of Scorpios a lot of times as not as entrepreneurial as most people, or some signs, not most people, as some signs, because for one, it's a fixed sign. And I think there is a security in filling the job, the 9 to 5, the steady paycheck that really, again, it comes other people's resources. They're not saying they can't be entrepreneurs, but I'm just saying they are less likely to go out and start a business because they truly do pull from other people's resources. And that's why a 9 to 5 corporate job really tends to work for them. That security really validates things too. I think they're too stressed to really become serial entrepreneurs. Like they might entrepreneurs, not entrepreneurs. Ah, I reached my limit. But I think that there's this piece of them that they find that security in a corporate job, and I think that really serves. I find a lot of times if I go work somewhere corporate, which I've done throughout my life, a lot of times I'm ended up with Scorpios, and I'm fine with that because we work well together. But I think they enjoy it. Scorpio in the 11th house. I would like to think this person has a lot of friends, but Scorpios don't like a lot of friends. They don't trust a lot of people. They have a hard time trusting. And so I would say this person probably has some really good, solid friends. This also might bring out a very humanitarian kind of energy for Scorpio because they can be so helpful and so resourceful that I think that if they were in, like their sun was in the 11th house and they were really big in, like say they had an Aquarius moon and a lot of Aquarius energy and their sun was in the 11th house, this would bring out this really like passionate but resourceful and just like organized person that could really drive a humanitarian project. I definitely could see that. So that's just how I feel about Scorpio in the 11th house. Scorpio in the 12th house.
Medium.
Huh? Yes.
Medium, yeah.
Someone that could just channel all the dead spirits that have already passed and all the energies of the world that we cannot see, because they definitely have an intuitive capability, a sense, a sixth sense, if you may. Like they are deeply intuitive, and I wouldn't trust them.
Yeah.
12,000 secrets.
Yeah.
I wouldn't trust this Venus here either. Probably, maybe a little bit more than Scorpio Venus in the 5th house, but definitely still not going to trust you in the 12th house. So
I have a question. Venus in the 8th house ruled Venus Aquarius in the 8th house. What are your thoughts?
Venus Aquarius, a little funky, a little weird, eccentric. I don't know.
You want to know whose chart it is?
Yours?
No.
I don't think you're Venus. I don't know.
No, Sam? Joseph Smith.
I was joking my water.
Sorry.
I was going to say, like, I think this person, I mean, depending on their chart, has a very unique, I would say, love style. That's really where I was going with that. But I wouldn't have said multiple partners. I wouldn't have said that. Although an Aquarius Venus wants multiple. I mean, not all of you. Again, depends on the chart. But typically an Aquarius Venus is different. They're not traditional. They're not the like, oh, I got to marry one person for the rest of my life. They're like, hey, I want to try all the things. And he really nailed it. He's like, we're going to turn this into a religion, and this is how we're going to live. I'm going to have 7 wives and walk all the rules. Like, who put this man in charge?
6 planets in the 6th house.
What? Where is his sun
at? His sun
is.
He's a chart? Yeah, of course. You know I have all the things. Capricorn, Sun, Cancer, Rising.
What's his moon is Aquarius? Dang. I was like, damn, my sun is a Capricorn, Sun, and Cancer Rising. But
yeah, Cancer Rising, and then an Aquarius moon.
In the 8th house. Yeesh. Yeah, I think that, and I know we're not on Capricorns, we're going to get to Capricorns, but they can be so persuasive. Like, they can be, like, you look at a lot of people.
I don't trust a Capricorn man.
No, I don't either. I mean, there can be things in his chart, ladies and gentlemen, they can be, but I've yet to see one. Like, I don't know.
I think we should do his chart for when we do Capricorn.
Yeah, break it down. Like, why
there's a lot of Capricorn in here, actually. He's got 3 Capricorn placements.
Yeah. I think Capricorn, I think so many people are like, they're respectable and they're the father and they're all these things.
He was a father of many.
Many. That is true. He did like to be the father and the husband of many, but yeah, we should bring him up. Let's bring him up on Capricorn.
Yeah. Now that I know, I was like, I gotta look because I was like, you said serial killers. So I'm like, let me go through all the horrible people that I have saved.
Whoop, found one. Right there in the heart of Utah. Wasn't he in Utah or was he just somewhere around there?
I think he started elsewhere in the East Coast first, but I gotta brush up on my Mormon history.
I don't know. I don't know. Like, and I don't watch the news, and I'm really not hip with all the things. But you know,
yeah, we do have a question from the audience.
Oh,
Jupiter and Virgo in the 8th house.
Jupiter in Virgo in the 8th house. So this typically, let's see, Jupiter is your abundance. Your abundance in Virgo. I would say this could really indicate that I don't want to say that you've maybe dealt with a lot of loss or death with people close to you, but it could indicate that. It could indicate that you've had to go through loss. And it doesn't always have to mean death as far as like people that die. The 8th house is kind of like transitioning, right? Like you go through a lot of change. And when Jupiter, and I would really need to see, and I think I actually have this chart or seen this chart, but I'd have to see other things too. But it's not the luckiest placement for Jupiter by any means. You're probably not one of those people that are like, oh, you're really lucky. It's just a more difficult place to have your Jupiter in the 8th house. You transition a lot too. It's not as harsh as Saturn, but there's definitely, you probably had to grow up a lot, grow up quick in the sense of going through some things.
Yeah, that's true. And she's practicing her mediumship right now.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah.
You can practice on me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, y'all could do a trade.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's why I sent you Jade's information today, and I'm like, hey, she's amazing. Like, you need to maybe do a live with her or something. Yeah, she would. I think she would too. So, yeah. Well, thanks for the question, but sorry, my computer's doing that weird thing again. I keep thinking it's gonna like shut off, but yeah, that is all things Scorpio. I appreciate everyone coming and listening. And then I got it through the houses this time. So sometimes I'm just like a chaotic mess and squirrel, and I don't really, and then I'm really tired.
It's so fun.
I know. You just never know which version of me you're going to get. I might be half asleep or I might be awake.
It makes it more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, next we have Sagittarius, and that'll be on September 26th. Same time, same place.
Yes. Sagittarius is one of my favorites. It is my most dominant planet, so it's the happy planet.
Yeah, it is. I enjoy a good Sag.
Absolutely. Oh, yes, you do. For some reason, I sometimes think he's a Gemini, and I'm like, no, he's a Sagittarius.
Gemini moon.
Yes, but it's like, I don't know. I gotta like get that out of my head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nice,
well, thank you so much for your time and all of your wisdom, and always the laughs. It's never boring.
I got you. Thank you for having me, and I will see you guys next month.
Yay! See you soon.
Bye.